Hello there and welcome to this week's episode of Eye on Port. It's proudly brought to you by Star Assurance, offering you your customized solution of insurance. Also West Blue Consulting Limited and Goil. Goil is offering good energy that will make you smile. So always stop by the Goil filling station, get your share of Goil and be smiling. Afterwards, Ghana Community Network Services, GCNet, is also a proud sponsor of this program, and they give government the electronic makeup that allows government to rake in a lot of taxes for this country. GCNet is a proud sponsor of this program, Eye on Port. Folks, this week, MAERSK Line is celebrating 25 years of doing business in Ghana. And if you look behind me, most of the containers you see right there have written on them MAERSK. That tells you that they've been dealing a lot with containerization. They more or less introduced this country into containerization, that is putting your goods into containers and importing or exporting them. So the Group Chief Executive of MAERSK International, Mr. Nils S. Anderson, was in this country some few days ago. And I on Port, we were fortunate to catch up with him to ask him about, how far has MAERSK come as far as operating in this country 25 years on, and also what plans do they have for the future, including their role in the Tema Port expansion that's supposed to start very, very soon.
What has motivated this new visit?
Well, the reason why I've been coming a number of times in the last years is, of course, that Ghana is important to the MAERSK Group. Ghana represents 5% of MAERSK Line's business in Africa, which is quite a lot, and it's a country where we want to invest more. Mm-hmm. This time, the specific reason for my visit is that we have 25 years anniversary. And during that time we built up a number of relationships and partnerships in the country, and we found it was a good opportunity to come and celebrate that, and also of course look into the future activities that we are planning. So at the moment the big project we have going directed towards the future is of course the expansion of the container terminal in Tema. Together with our partners, we have committed $1.5 billion to that expansion, which will create probably the largest and definitely the most modern terminal in sub-Saharan Africa, and that will enable Ghana to grow its imports for many years to come.
I see. And how far have you gone with that arrangement? Because I recall that somewhere late 2015, the concession agreement was signed, and a lot of Ghanaians have been looking up for this particular project. How far have you gone with the arrangement?
We've gone quite far. We are at the moment very close to being able to open the result of the tender for the port. So we've tendered out a number of civil works in particular for the port, which is the long lead items. We're still awaiting for final approval, final agreement with the authorities. But we actually in the last year we progressed quite far, and we're very enthusiastic about the opportunity.
Okay, so per your assessment, you reckon that we are likely to see physical work begin when?
Well, we first have to hand out the orders, and in order to do that we have to have the final long-term agreement signed by the government and approved also by the parliament. We hope that can happen quickly, and then construction can start relatively quickly. So we reckon we'll need the capacity of the container terminal around 19, and we assume that the port can be ready for that.
Okay.
So we can assure a seamless transfer from the old container terminal, which is still operating well, but just getting too small and too impractical, over to this new one during 2019. So okay. It's a pretty ambitious timeline, but we've seen things move quickly here in Ghana.
Awesome. And you're looking at how magnificent that project is. We're looking at what period to finish. Starting, if we had to start in this year, how many years do we have to complete?
I think you mean completing the construction work?
The construction work for the phase one, probably.
Typically, a construction of a port takes, depending on how much resources the construction companies put in, but it takes between 2 to 3 years from you start constructing. So we'll open the offers, pick the best, and then we'll be ready to start the construction relatively quickly.
You've dealt with a number of huge ports all around the world. I mean, MAERSK is huge everywhere, and knowing this particular project, how much do you think is going to position this country?
This port will have and terminal will have a tremendous importance for Ghana, no question about it. First of all, because it will allow the country to import and export very large quantities of goods, which is very important for securing growth in a country like Ghana, or in any country for that matter. So the port project in itself will be very important. Then we also have, of course, as the international partners have committed also to constructing a road or expanding the road from Tema to Accra, which will all massively improve the infrastructure and connectivity between the port and the main city. So it is all in all that comes on top of the $1.5 billion. So it is all in all, it's a massive project that will really improve the connectivity of the country.
Okay, so it does include road construction linking inland and the port.
That is the plan, yes.
Okay, that's great. Let's stick with harbor activities for a while. Do you also have intention of engaging in harbor towage activities?
What we really want to do here is to expand the level of activity we have. So we have on a global basis, we operate around eight businesses, and the businesses that are active here in Ghana is of course MAERSK Line, where we celebrated yesterday the 25 years anniversary. But it's also apart from port activities, it is also our inland logistic operations. So we have, for instance, an inland depot. We actually have two inland depots, one with the inland service, another one with our logistic company, Damco. So we also invest in inland facilities, because it doesn't help that you have a good port if you can't get the goods away into the country where they're going to be consumed, or you can't get the goods that are produced inland out to the port for export. So we work with that as well. And at the moment we also have a very large drill ship working offshore for E&I on their fields.
Yes.
It's a project. We also started that last year, and the operations are going very, very well. Actually, so well that it's always one well ahead. So I hope E&I and Ghana will have more wells for the money that's committed to the project.
We all hope so.
That's doing very well.
Apart from that partnership with E&I, do you have any plans for other oil offshore drilling activities?
We of course would like to offer more offshore equipment and offshore services. There's a number of good international operators operate in Ghana, and we have very good drill ships available for servicing them. So we're looking at that. We're also looking at our anchor handling and supply vessel operation to see whether we can get some vessels busy here. And of course also in connection with port activities, we also like to offer the services of Switzer, which is the world's largest tugboat operator, by the way, which is also part of the group. So it's one of the countries in the world where we really try to get as many businesses as possible engaged in order to make sure that we service all parts of the economy.
Finally, as we end the interview, MAERSK Line has been 25 years in this country, and for many of us Ghanaians who have followed the shipping industry, you more or less introduced this country into containerization. What's your assessment of how we have embraced containerization and also the shipping industry as a country?
Ghana is a very open economy. I think the Ghanaians are very privileged that they have this country, and that they've also taken a lot of the right decisions in order to progress in the last 25 years. Compared to many other emerging markets, you have the advantage of a well-functioning democracy, Like in Europe and everywhere else, democracy gives a lot of discussions and a lot of noise, but that's the purpose of the thing. You have a well-functioning democracy, you have good talent base that you can build up off as an international company. So I think Ghana in any sense of the world has embraced globalization very well. And as to containerization, we started in the MPS port or the terminal in 2007, and since then container volumes have more than doubled, almost tripled. So trade in and out of Ghana is doing very well.
Okay.
We are proud to be an important actor in that. We do approximately 30% of import and export, and we're the largest carrier of an important product out of Ghana, which is cocoa beans.
Yes.
So we're very proud of being part of that process. But of course we are part of that process and successful, because we all the time try to serve the needs of the country. Okay,
and do you see the cooperation from leadership, for instance? I know that, for instance, yesterday you visited the president. Do you see that our leadership is also giving the cooperation as far as boosting business in this country? What our experience is that we have, since we entered into serious discussions about this project, that we've received all the support we could expect from the president and his office and the government, which is also necessary, because of course $1.5 billion investment is a lot of money. Huge. It's a lot of money, and you don't go around investing that kind of money in every country. Environment that are not friendly. Exactly. You need to feel convinced that the government, and also, you know, it's not just the government, we're in a democracy, so it's also the opposition, it's the parliament, and it's the population needs to embrace these things. And that is what, for us, makes Ghana a very interesting place to invest, and a place where we hope we can expand over the coming years as well. Should we expect more investment from MAERSK? I hope so. We will definitely pursue opportunities.
Well, after being in Ghana for the past 25 years, it appears MAERSK is happy about doing business in this country and intends to do a lot more, invest a lot more in this country. We can only wish them well and continue to pray for better partnership between that company as well as this country. Iron Port returns shortly after the break.
I sing about. There ain't no limitations to your amazing grace, your amazing grace. And there's something about the way your love shines on my face. Oh no, I can never get enough of you.
Star Assurance, creating smiles since 1985. Let go. Let's celebrate 30 years of solid partnership. Star Assurance, your solid partner.
I'll take care of you. I gotta slow down.
Every time you think of importing goods into Ghana, know that there is a competent team of world-class personnel to cater to your trade needs. Know that there is a help desk you can call with your queries. Know that you can speed up the process of clearing your goods with customs long before they arrive in Ghana. Remember that CCVR, which used to take several days, now only takes 48 hours through the new Customs Pre-Arrival Assessment Reporting System known as PASS. Remember that our staff all over the nation is waiting to serve you. Remember that PASS makes imports into Ghana faster, simpler, safer and easier. Ghana Revenue Authority, committed to serving you better.
Ghana's goil.
Your own goil.
Our own goil.
Ghana's goil.
Gold, gold, in the service of the nation.
North, south, east and west, wherever we put you first.
Gold, gold, gold is good energy.
Goil is good energy. Services so friendly to the nation. North, south, east and west, we always stand for the best.
Gold, gold, gold is good energy.
Welcome back from the break. Still watching Eye on Port live on this network, and news and activities that have been happening in and around the port and maritime industry next.
The Executive Director of the Center for Maritime Law and Security, Commander Kamal Din Ali, has stated the need for countries, and for that matter ports, to have a well-defined concept of security and safety, rigorous and buoyant legal framework, and governance system, which he describes as interface between the maritime governance and the land governance. According to him, the security and safety concepts are critical enablers of efficient maritime operations, which shape a country's policy towards effective maritime security.
The port is actually the linkage between a national economy and the global economy. So this is how critical port is. And in a country such as Ghana, where we are blessed to be a coastal state, the port is one of our greatest assets that we can ever count on. So what we have to do every time is to look at it and ask ourselves, what is it that we can do to enhance port security? What is it that we can do to enhance maritime security? And what can we do to make sure that the sea lines of communications are open and secured?
Speaking in an interview with Eye on Port ahead of his book launch titled Maritime Security Cooperation in the Gulf of Guinea, Prospects and Challenges, Commander Kamal Din Ali said security at Ghana's port has improved tremendously as compared to other ports in the West African sub-region, which has therefore boosted business confidence at Ghana's port.
We have a very, very rigorous port security, and this has increased over the years. Of course, what that means is that we are continuously improving in our port security to give confidence to people that want to transact business, to know that their goods and services are coming through the port and through that into Ghana, that is a secured country. Because I have also looked at other port arrangements across the sub-region, and one can say that Ghana has one of the very good and very well secured ports.
He said his book analyzes the strategic environment of the Gulf of Guinea and also threats in the maritime industry such as piracy and drug trafficking.
That I have taken a deep look at the Gulf of Guinea maritime environment, analyzing the strategic environment of the Gulf of Guinea, a good indication of what the importance, the geopolitical importance of the region, trade, fisheries, sea routes, offshore oil and gas, submarine cables, ships that are calling into port, imports and exports. So these are extensively discussed.
The acting director of Takoradi Port, Captain Ebenezer Feti, has revealed that the number of offshore and supply vessels that call the Takoradi Port will increase significantly from next year, following the construction of marine gas oil tanks.
We intend to draw all offshore support and supply vessels to Takoradi Port. What is happening now outside there is that we have vessels doing illegal bunkering all the way from Nigeria, Benin, Togo, and we don't want them to get into Ghanaian waters. So this facility is going to help us to get all these vessels come to Takoradi Port. It's going to give us some revenue, and it's also going to make our waters very safe.
The facility will also supply water to vessels that come to the Takoradi Port and increase the revenue of the port. The project, which is a collaboration between the Port Authority and Ghana Oil Company, GOIL, is being constructed by Viking Offshore, the port's development partners, and it is expected to be completed by end of 2016.
Now, next time you visit, you should be seeing the skeleton of the site, which means that we will have tanks that's several meters high. I'm talking maybe 15 meters if you visit in 3 months again, high. After that, you would think that we're complete, but the control of the facility is quite complex, and a lot of effort has to go into the piping and the instrumentation for the control systems.
The tanks will store 12,000 tons of marine gas oil and supply to vessels mainly from the western central coast. Currently, along the west coast, there is no facility to provide vessels with marine gas oil.
They will want to use Takoradi, and even vessels that are working around Togo and Cote d'Ivoire will definitely want to use this place, because this is a very safe place, they will not want to be doing this bunkering outside the 40, 50 nautical miles of the coast. They will want to come to port and have a safe bunkering operation.
When completed, the facility will go a long way to prevent illegal bunkering, which is the supply of fuel to vessels in the Ghanaian waters, as well as reduce the activities of pirates in the West Coast. The current considerable ongoing developmental projects at the port of Takoradi is expected to position the port not only as an oil and gas hub, but also a hub for repairs of oil rigging vessels. As part of the expansion project, a floating dry dock will come on stream next year to augment the existing dry dock facility.
The oil rig repairs, and it comes in place, along with a floating dry dock that is also expected to take up soon, then you realize that we will be well positioned to serve the oil and gas industry.
The floating dry dock will also make it possible for the repair of larger vessels with deeper drafts. The current state of the Takoradi dry dock has also been expanded, making it possible for 3 vessels to be attended to and repaired at the same time.
We have these 2 appendages. These are the 2 side arms. In other words, we can transfer, once the vessel is here, we can connect them and transfer them to the northern slip or to the southern slip, and this becomes the central slip. So that, in other words, we can take on 3 vessels at the same time.
The Takoradi Port Dry Dock facility is certified by the International Standard Organization, which places it ahead of other shipyards in Lomé and Abidjan.
Bringing all these crafts to dry patch is to carry out maintenance. Now, I like to emphasize that it is not always out of routine maintenance. Sometimes it could be due to an incident, due to a hole-in, due to a collision, or due to sudden leakage from the gland of the propeller. And that repair cannot be carried out whilst it is still in the water. It needs to come to dry land or to a dry facility for that maintenance work to be carried out.
Francis Kwesi-Maika, the Marine Services Manager, said the expansion works will enable more supply vessels to come into the port for routine maintenance, and the Takoradi port is more than ready for such tasks.
When the market picks up, that is the whole purpose. You know, we need to get to a stage where the vessels will be queued up for our services. And as we say, the way we are going about our retooling, rejuvenating our tooling and then the facilities, it will mean that the quick turnaround time will be improved. A turnaround time is when the vessel comes in until the time that she leaves the place will be reduced to the barest minimum.
He said the port has the best facilities to satisfy all such repair works for any vessel.
This over here is a grinding machine. You know, sometimes to get good finish to any other mechanical work or fabrication, you need to do some grinding. And this equipment, as it is termed, facilitates that. Now, over here, we have the drilling machine. Sometimes there is a need for you to maybe perforate the tool or the steel product or the plate, and this vertical drilling machine does that particular job perfectly.
The Takoradi Dry Dock prides itself in satisfactory professional services that has been appreciated by its clientele.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority (GPHA) has donated 4 HP computers to the Human Trafficking Unit of the Criminal Investigative Department (CID). Presenting the items, Manager for Corporate Affairs, Marketing and Public Relations of GPHA, Paul Asari Ansah, said the donation was meant to facilitate the work of the department. He said the Port Authority appreciates the work done so far by the department, hence the need to support the trafficking unit of the CID.
We present 4 computers. We go a long way to help assist the work of the human trafficking unit, the CID.
Paul Ansah said the port intends to strengthen the bond that exists between the 2 organizations. Receiving the items, Staff Officer to the Director General CID, ASP Prosper Togbe, thanked GPHA for the gesture and promised to utilize the computers for the purpose for which they were donated.
Sing about there ain't no limitations to your amazing grace, your amazing grace. And there's something about the way you Your love shines on my face. Oh no, I can never get enough of you.
Star Assurance, creating smiles since 1985. Let go. Let's celebrate 30 years of solid partnership. Star Assurance, your solid partner.
I'll take care of you.
I gotta slow down.
Every time you think of importing goods into Ghana, know that there is a competent team of world-class personnel to cater to your trade needs. Know that there is a help desk you can call with your queries. Know that you can speed up the process of clearing your goods with customs long before they arrive in Ghana. Remember that CCVR, which used to take several days, now only takes 48 hours through the new Customs Pre-Arrival Assessment Reporting System known as PARS. Remember that our staff all over the nation is waiting to serve you. Remember that PARS makes imports into Ghana faster, simpler, safer and easier. Ghana Revenue Authority, committed to serving you better.
Ghana's goil.
Your own goil.
Our own goil.
Ghana's own.
I've been buying goil for a while now. I get my money's worth every time I buy from the goil station.
Goil is a station that if you buy fuel from them, you can work with your fuel the whole day that you don't have any problem. Goil there, boy, almost is here. My children, their cars, all they will buy from Goil. If you don't take the receipt from Goil, I won't pay back.
Next up, schedules of vessels sitting in the port, those at anchorage and those also coming for the next week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate on your screens. We continue to encourage you to send us comments about doing business in the port. If you have ever encountered any challenge doing business in the port, you know us and you know the sort of topics we treat on this platform. Any story around the port, please let us know. And a few of you have been writing to us already about your concerns and your compliments.
Kofi from Accra commented on last week's strike by the traders associations and says if the taxes are so much, they should continue the strike till a month. Also, no one should pay their tax returns for a month for government to feel the real impact of the strike action. Please, how can you know the exact date or day that the container containing your goods will be opened for inspection? Well, there is no specific day for opening of containers. However, your agent will be in a better position to give you the exact date or day your container is to be opened because he or she is the one facilitating the process on your behalf.
That's it for this week's episode of Iron Port, and thanks to the crew: Robert Nyantechi, Godwin Kabute, Fabio Baini, Solomon Anderson, Joe Lavo, also the executive producers Paul Asariansa, Abna Sewa Opokufusu, and also I have to say a big thank you to Ebenezer Tewia for supporting the program, and all of you for watching.